Hello, I am Kumar Vani, an assistant professor in the Department of English at B. Raghunath College, Parna. I welcome you to this audio-visual lecture on A Brief History of Indian Writing in English, Part 1. The content of this lecture has been developed for the undergraduate students of B. Raghunath College. Let us head over to the slide presentation for the detailed discussion. In this module, you will be introduced to what is Indian writing in English. You will also be able to see when Indian writing in English began, who are the significant writers of Indian writing in English, and we'll have a quick summary of what is Indian writing in English. Let us start with the question, what is Indian writing in English? As you know, writing comprises literature. Those writers who are Indian and who have written in English is basically an Indian writing in English. You may be wondering that there are many English literatures like British English literature, American English literature, African English literature, Canadian literature, Australian literature, and so on. Every country has produced its own literature. Most of the time it is in English also. Right. So if we simply call Indian writing in English like Indian English literature, so that will not be a suitable thing. So all these literatures are written in single language, English. Then why not call it simply English literature only? But the issue is all literatures differ from each other in their subject matter, in their theme, their style, and use of language. Say for example, Indian writing in English uses the way Indians speak in English. American English literature, the writers there may use the language in a different way. Their subject matter is different. American literature has different themes. Likewise, if we call simply English literature, it will not give you a sense of specific literature. Specific, what I mean by specific is, if I am reading a book written by an Indian author in English, and when I am reading it, I have a sense of reading something from India, though it is written in English, and only the understanding of the subject matter of that book is conveying me that this book is from India. So if I simply call it English literature, then there may be a doubt in my mind, there may be a confusion in my mind. As a beginner reader, which country this book belongs to, or who is the author, and which country the author belongs to. So basically, if we call all literatures simply English literature, that is not enough. We have to specify the name of the country. And why specify it? Because each country has its own subject matter, its own theme, its own style of writing, its own use of using language. Indian writing in English is basically a product of historical encounter between two cultures. And what are those cultures? Indian culture and the Western culture. For about 190 years, as you may be aware, that when Britishers came to India as a businessmen, and later they settled as rulers of this country. So there was an encounter, there was a clash, there was war between the ideas and rules of Indians and the Westerners, I mean the Britishers. Out of that clash, out of that encounter, there were many issues, subject matters that came to the forefront, which were selected by many writers of India who wrote in English as the subject matter of Indian writing in English. Indian English literature also refers to the body of works by authors in India who write in English and whose native or co-native language could be one of the numerous languages of India. As you are aware that in India there are many languages. Officially there may be 18 or 20 recorded languages in our constitution, but practically we speak many languages, and in each language there is a literature. In native language there is a literature. When these writers started writing in English, it is apt to call it Indian writing in English. M.K. Naik, who was one of the significant scholar of Indian writing in English, in his well-known book, A History of English Literature, defines Indian English literature as literature written originally in English by authors Indian by birth, ancestry or nationality. K.R. Srinivas Iyengar, who has been one of the best known scholar of Indian writing in English and who had written a book which was first published in 1962. He writes in his book that Indians have been writing in English for communication with one another and with the outside world, for self-expression and for creative writing in English. Basically, English is not new to Indians. English was used by Indians for communication, and later on some people with creative mindset used English language for writing literature also. They produced prominent poems, dramas, novels, like that. Indian writing in English differs from other English literature in matter of subject, style, use of language, geographical setting, cultural background and themes, as we discussed earlier, because India is a very vast geographical country. Every region, every state, every language has its own culture, has its own customs, has its own ways of living. So every geographical setting is unique to India. So when writers composed poems, novels and dramas, it was very unique for India. Even though it is written in English, Indian writing in English reflects the spirit of very Indianness. And it is literature written about Indian subjects. Setting is basically Indian, rural and urban places, and it presents variety of cultures of India, use of Indianized English, and basically expresses Indian feelings and emotions. That is why it is very suitable to call such a literature which is written in English Indian writing in English, Indian literature in English, and no other word, just a common word, English literature, that is encompassing and accommodating literature written in English by the Indian authors is not sufficient. And it is very useful that we should include Indian word in the literature in English. Indian literature in English. The early writers of Indian writing in English include Henry Thoreau, Rabindranath Tagore, Bankim Chandra, Aurobindo Ghosh, Nirad C. Chaudhary, Sarojini Naidu, Toru Datta, R. K. Narayan, Raja Rao, Mulkraj Anand, Manohar Malegaonkar, and there are few others. All the names cannot be jotted down here, just to give you the idea of how many people, how many writers from India have written in English. These are few of the examples. If you read this book, as I showed you earlier also, in this book you will find the detailed history of each and every person who has written literature in English. There had been a lot of debate over the term, whether writings in English should be called Anglo-Indian, or Indian literature should be called in Indo-Anglian, or it should be Indo-British, or it should be Commonwealth literature. But you see, all these terms do not reflect the true spirit of Indian writing in English, as I told you earlier. We are very unique, as every nation is very unique. We have our unique cultures, we have our unique geographical settings, we have our own subject matters, themes, and everything. As you know, literature is the mirror to society. What happens with us is reflected in the literature. And a Commonwealth literature in English, or Indo-Anglian, or Indo-British, these terms will not reflect the true spirit of Indian literature in English. Sometimes we call it Indian writing in English, and sometimes we also refer it as the Indian literature in English. Both ways are suitable, because why just call it writing in English? It is literature. That is my personal opinion. You may be thinking something else, but this is what my little understanding of whatever I have read about Indian writing in English, Indian literature in English, made me to feel it like that. I think Indian writing in English and Indian literature in English are just interchangeable words, and we should not go into the debate over whether it is Indian writing in English or whether it is Indian literature in English. Now let us try to discuss about when exactly Indian writing in English began. This is very important to understand. Indian writing in English begins with the colonial encounter when Indian and British came face to face and begin the exchange between two culture, language and literature. As you are aware that English education in India began as early as in 1717 in Madras, 1718 at Bombay and 1720 at Calcutta. The Hindu College established in 1817 at Calcutta with efforts of Raja Ram Mohan Rai, David Harry and Sir Edwin. English education brought new life and opened new vistas of knowledge. With English education and study of English literature, Indians learned at first to read and speak and comprehend English, and they soon started writing also. This Indian writing in English in variety of forms referred to as literary renaissance of India, because by taking English education we were reading the books written in English outside India. Their thoughts, their ideas, their living, everything was very curious to learn, very curious to read and understand. It brought a kind of reformation. The study of English literature stimulated literary creations in regional languages. As you are aware that British literature is one of the rich creative literature in the world, and the people who studied in English in India, they started reading British literature, and this reading of British literature also stimulated their creative minds, and they also had an urge to write, an urge to express them, and this is how creative writing in English began. The novel remained a center of attraction for Indian authors because novel is written in prose, poetry is a very compact expression of ideas, drama is based, drama is dialogue based. There are dialogues in drama, so prose was easy and fluent to write. So those who studied British literature, first it was novel which first attracted their mind. Indian writing in English initially begins with the translation of works, original works written in their mother tongue, and later on someone else who is efficient in English translated them, or in case of Rabindranath Tagore, who wrote in mother tongue first and himself translated in English. The Renaissance in modern Indian literature begins with Raja Ram Mohan Roy. His interest and inquiries ranged from rights of women and the freedom of press to English education. Raja Ram Mohan Rai could be named as the first of the Indian masters of English prose. He has written numerous books in English. Henry Dorizio, Kashi Prasad Ghosh and Michael Madhusudan Dutt were important writers of the beginning. Let us try to understand each writer who had contributed to the Indian writing in English. Henry Dorizio, who was born in 1809 and died in 1831, was a poet, journalist and a teacher. He became a teacher of English literature in the Hindu College at the age of 18 only. He does not only taught English literature but also made his pupils to ask questions, to think for themselves and not to shrink from the right answer. He loved India, he loved nature, he also loved his students. Everything is reflected in his poems. His works are influenced by French Revolution and English romantics. He has written many short lyrics and sonnets. His most famous work is Fakir of Jagira, which is written and published in 1828. This is how the first writer, you may call him, who is poet, journalist and teacher, who had written in English. Now let us try to understand another poet, journalist and editor who was born in 1809 and died in 1873, whose name is Kashi Prasad Ghosh. You can see the picture of Kashi Prasad Ghosh here. He was educated at Hindu College and passed out in 1828. He edited an English weekly, the title of which was The Hindu Intelligence, one of the first Indian to publish a regular volume of verse. His best known book is The Shair and Other Poems. This book was published in 1830. Let us now discuss about one of the best known poet who was by profession also a lawyer. He was influenced by English Romantic movement. He is famous for his Bengali epic Meghnad Badha. Meghnad Badha is one of the best poem written by Michael Madhusudan Datta. Another narrative poem, The Captive Lady, appeared in Madras in 1849. It evokes Muhammad Ghazni's vision of slaughter of Hindus in Old Delhi. He is known as a poet's poet in Bengal. As I told you, Michael Madhusudan Datta is one of the best poet, and in Bengal he is the poet's poet. Sir Aurobindo said about Michael Madhusudan Datta that the God himself took thy pain and wrote. So was the rich creative power of Michael Madhusudan Datta, who died in 1873. The other significant writers in English are Turu Datta. She was born in 1856, an Indian poet who wrote in English and French. Her first book, which came out in 1876, was A Sheaf Gleaned in French Fields. Her poem Our Casuarina Tree and Savitri are most famous. Bianca, or the Young Spanish Maiden, was a novel that came out in 1879. Ancient Ballads, Legends of Hindustan are the other significant books written by Turu Datta. She died in 1877. Now let us discuss one of the best creative writer in English to whom we owe the first Nobel Prize for Literature. Rabindranath Tagore, born in 1861, was the novelist, poet, dramatist, painter, educationist, thinker, traveler, and whatnot. He was the university in himself. He was the first non-European to win Nobel Prize in Literature for his book Gitanjali, which was published in English, and this book earned Nobel Prize in Literature. He is mostly known for his poetry, but he is a multi-talented personality, as I told you. King George V gave him knighthood, which he gave up in 1919 in protest against Jallianwala Bagh massacre. His best-known novels include The Wreck, which came out in 1905, Gora, which is one of my favorite novels, was published in 1910. The Home and the World came out in 1916. His best known poems include Gitanjali, 1913, Golden Boat, Balaka, which is called Wild Geese. From his poems, two are selected as national anthem, Jana Gana Mana in India and Amar Shonar Bangla as Sri Lankan national anthem. One of the best dramatist of Indian writing in English, best short story writer, the best painter. His famous novels are Gora and The Wreck, as I told you a while ago. And his best known dramas include The Post Office, written in 1912, Chandalika, which is roughly translated as Untouchable Girl, Chitra, Sannyasi, and Sacrifice. He had also written some short stories in English, The Beggar Woman, The Runway, 1895, and other stories. Among other stories, The Kabuliwala is one of my favorite short story of Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore died in 1941. Sarojini Naidu, born in 1879 and died in 1949, is popularly known as the Nightingale of India. She was a poet, freedom fighter, and the first lady governor of India. Her poems include The Golden Threshold, which came out in 1905. It was admired by G.K. Gokhale and even by British press for its Indian quality. The Bird of Time was published in 1912. It consists of 46 poems. Song of Life and Death was also one of the best. The Broken Wing was published in 1917, which consisted 61 poems, and Rabindranath Tagore highly praised this work. The themes and background of her poetry were purely Indian, and she portrayed the festivals, occupations, and life of Indians. Lyricism, imagery, mysticism, native fervor are the remarkable qualities of Sarojini Naidu's poetry. Her most famous poems include The Weaver, The Flute, Player of Brindaban, and It is also noteworthy that Mr. Galsworthy, who was the famous British dramatist, compared her poetry with Mrs. Browning for her poem The Temple, a Pilgrimage of Love. Another notable writer of Indian writing in English is Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. He was poet, journalist and novelist as well. He was born in 1838. His famous novels include Raj Mohan's Wife, which came out in 1864, Kapal Kundala in 1866, Mrinalini came out in 1869, The Poison Tree came out in 1873, Krishna Kanta's Will in 1878, Anand Math in 1882, and Durgesh Nandini was published in 1865. National Song of India Vande Mataram is taken from this famous novel Anand Math, which came out in 1882. Vande Mataram, as you know, is the national song of India and we are proud of it. Let us move ahead and try to read and understand something about Aurobindo Ghosh, who was a nationalist, philosopher, poet and reformer. Aurobindo Ghosh was born in 1872. He was the founder of Sri Aurobindo Ashram, Pondicherry. His literary works include The Life Divine, Synthesis of Yoga, Savitri, one of the best known poem all over the world, A Legend and a Symbol, Savitri, A Legend and a Symbol, The Renaissance in India, and other essays on Indian culture which came out in 1980. His works also include philosophy, poetry, translations, and commentaries on Hindu epics like Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita. He had written some plays also: Perseus the Deliverer, Vasavadatta, Rodugni, and Eric. Most notable thing about Aurobindo Ghosh, he was a philosopher, he was a reformer, and his The Life Divine is a must-read book from Indian writing in English. Savitri, a very long poem which he subtitled as A Legend and a Symbol. Let us move ahead and read something about Nissim Ezekiel. He was Indian Jewish poet, actor, playwright, editor, and art critic. Nissim Ezekiel is considered to be the pioneering figure in modern Indian English poetry. He enriched and established Indian English language poetry through his modernist innovations and techniques, which enlarged Indian English literature. His poetry include The Discovery of India, Unfinished Man, Latter-day Psalms. He is one of the best poem which is appreciated by all readers is Night of the Scorpion, where he describes a simple event that took place, a simple incident that took place in a rural setting, where scorpion bites a mother, where in village all the people from the village gather together and pray God that the poison of the scorpion should not kill the mother. The most notable thing about this poem is that the concluding lines, where the mother thanks God that the scorpion did not bite her son and it bite the mother. She can bear the poison, she can bear the pain of the scorpion bite. What would have happened if the scorpion would have bitten the son? The mother would have died by seeing the pain of the child. She could not have tolerated the pain of the child. She is strong enough to tolerate the pain of the scorpion bite, but she was not strong enough to tolerate the pain of the child. This was the richness of Nissim Ezekiel's poetry, and Night of the Scorpion is one of the best poems among his whole works. I thank you very much for learning with me. If you benefited from this video session, please share it with your friends and I will talk to you in the next video. Till then, take care, happy learning.